Hello and welcome to Morning Brew on Politics Social. It is Tuesday, the 25th of November, 2025. I'm Graham Hughes. I'm sorry for being so late this morning. Not your fault. Not your fault. But I have a cup of coffee now in my old Politics Social mug. How cool is that? But I'm going to put it in this one. Keep it hot. Anyway, so before we get started, just want to say a big hello, welcome, good morning to everyone watching and everyone in the chat. Now, if you'd like to transform yourself from one of the people watching to one of the people in the chat, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button if I can find the animation. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, all that jazz. It actually makes you 17 times sexier if you subscribe. That's a site. There's no real evidence for it, but it's a scientific fact. Okay, so big shout out to Sarah and Gallifrey and Wren and Viper Scott and Lisa and Pete's Music and Mr. Tisk, One Angry Pagan in the chat. Hello, good morning to you all. Hope you're all feeling dandy this morning. Well, dandier perhaps than Nigel Farage, who was interviewed yesterday about his, his past. His distant past, being in school, being a racist fucker. 20 people have now come forward who went to school with him. 20 to say he was a racist fucker in school. And he goes, oh, but that was 49 years ago. Yeah, because you stopped being a racist fucker once you left school, right, Nige? Yeah? Is that why you stood in front of that poster with breaking point on it, right? And you cropped out all the white faces from the poster? Okay. And he was also asked about his recent past, his recent history, being a spokesperson for the Russian government in the European Parliament, echoing the very words said by Nathan Gill, who is currently serving 10.5 years in jail for being a massive fucking traitor to this country. And Farage said the same things that he said. You can put the two speeches next to each other, talking about, Ukraine are asking for this, really. If it's really NATO's fault, if you think about it. They shouldn't have poked the Russian bear, So let's talk about this. Farage isn't a joke. He's not some bonhomie, buy you a beer down the pub, just, have a bifter, have a pint. He's your mate. He'll get the rounds in because he's so fucking rich. He won't get the rounds in. He's a tight little bastard because he's rich. You see, most rich people are tight. Tight as a duck's arse. They don't want to spend any money on anything except stuff that makes them feel better about themselves. Like, personalised number plates and gold watches and bits of artwork that they buy for millions and millions of pounds. They can't spend any more money on tax. I mean, I can't pay any more tax. I'm taxed out. You know how much I'm taxed? I'm taxed more than anybody. And then they go out and buy a painting for $500 million. And you're like, all right, mate. Yeah, you sound really fucking hard up, mate. But yeah, he's a danger. He's spent decades hiding behind this cheeky lad persona, just saying what people are feeling, but now the mask has slipped. And we need to take advantage of this opportunity to actually nail this motherfucker and get him put in jail where he belongs, where he absolutely belongs. Let's not forget, Brexit has cost the UK economy at least £100 billion a year. It's been going on now for 5 years. So that's at least £500 billion. This piece of shit, this bollock-faced foghorn of ignorance has cost us. This nicotine-stained man-frog, this natterjack toad reflected in a doorknob. He has cost us that money. Our island, our country. Bastard. Our islands, sorry. Sorry, white and man. Didn't mean to leave you out there. Right, I'm going to have to do some chemistry. I'm going to have to put my Politics Social mug contents into here so it doesn't go cold during the show. There you go. Beautiful. All done. All done. Wake up, Veg Pie! Says Martin Howard. Hey, Veg Pie. Nice to have you with us. These allegations against Farage are not banter. They're a pattern of racist and anti-Semitic behaviour from adolescence to political adulthood. And this is not new information to anyone who has followed his career. It's just now is the time that the witnesses are finally stepping forward, because they all went to private school, you see, man. It's hard to get these private school people to talk because they all know stuff about each other and it's all a bit of a club. And I'm not going to go on about it because I know we're going on about it too much, but it really is fucking disgusting the amount of power the privately educated have over us, over our lives. You'd be following a creator on TikTok or Instagram or here on YouTube, and you know, they sound really authoritative about what they're saying, and they can be completely right on and completely correct in what they're saying. But then you find out that, you know, they're rich, they went to private school, daddy paid a marketing company to find the right algorithms, they pay someone to do the editing for their videos because they've got the fucking money. And you're kind of like, oh, okay. You know, I like what you say, but I just hate the fact that the rest of us don't get to say it. You know, if we put our head above the parapet, we're told that we're the grifters. You know, we're like you would become a political left-wing commentator if you were in it for the money. Jesus Christ, let me tell you. No, you wouldn't. In fact, on that note, I'm going to set up a goal so we can have confetti. Hey, all the colours, 1 hour, and we will have confetti. I hope we can get confetti. I need to, oh God. I just tried to type in the word party, but I wasn't really paying attention. I typed in the word pastry instead. And no, nothing came up. Sorry, I was looking for emojis. You know, you can type in what emojis you want. Do you remember when you couldn't do emojis on a computer? Do you remember? Do you remember when you had to go to a website and you had to copy and paste the individual emojis across when you were on a computer? I mean, you could do them on your phone, but on your computer you had to. Great days. But Graham, how might I able to score a politics social mug? Says Pete Van Der Kat. Well, I'm glad you asked. They're actually available via I forgot what it's called now. Spring mugs, politics social. Let's see if we can find one. Spring. Oh, okay. So Spring doesn't exist anymore. It used to be called Teespring. Let's put Teespring in because that's less likely to bring up, I don't know, other stuff. Mug, politics social. Don't be a mug, get a mug. That sounds like something I would write. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something that someone else wrote. Maybe it's something that ChatGPT wrote. No, I did this listing before ChatGPT existed. Let's have a look. Politics social. There you go. My God, it's £13.92. If you want to buy one, I think I get about £3 if you buy one of these. So there you go. There's the mug. There's the mug link. There's the mug link. Your mug wumps. If you want to buy a politics social mug, you can get it in deep navy, medium grey. You get it in red. You can get it in royal blue, or you can get it in black. I'd recommend the black one. Actually, that sounds really good to me. Get the black one. Anyway, but you can get it. A bespoke politics social mug, if that's what you want. If that's what you want. I've got another one that says Tory tears. That's quite fun. What you really want is a mug that says I love cock. That's the best mug to have, because if anyone ever comes round to your house, if it's a plumber, or it's a mate, it's your father-in-law, or it's the local vicar, and you say, do you want a cup of tea? And they go, all right then. And then you give it to them in a cup that says, I heart cock. And they're like this. It's dead funny. It's just the funniest thing you could do. Or when the Jehovah's Witnesses come round. And no, it's a shut up, Graham. Anyway, back onto Farage. And just this scumbag, And we've got these two scandals that are blowing up at the moment involving RefUK and Farage. Racism and Russia. So Farage has been accused of racist abuse as a teen, at exactly the same time that his party is implicated in a real, proven, guy gone to jail and everything, Russian conspiracy, a pro-Russian bribery scandal. Not allegations, not rumours, a conviction of the leader of RefUKing Wales. And he's got 10.5 years in jail. And both symptoms are the same thing. Farage attracts extremists. Why? Because he's a fucking extremist. That's it. That is the reason why. And then, there is a call for a proper, hang on, copy link address. There is a call for a proper inquiry into Russian interference into British democracy. And the petition link is there. Please sign it. It was on 10,000 signatures yesterday, and now it's over 30,000. So please get over there, sign it, get it up to 100,000. It's on 35,000 now. It's on 35,473. And I'm sure that you want to be the 35,474th. It's up to 77 now. It's just got up. It's just got up as I'm talking. Please get over there, sign that motherfucking thing, and tell the UK government. It's got up to 81 now. It's going up really quick. Tell the UK government that they must, consider this for debate in Parliament, because this is a win. This is a win. Let's not forget, right? If they do this, it is a win for Labour. It is a win for the Tories, actually. Although it might uncover some uncomfortable home truths about the relationship between the Friends of Russia Society and whatever the fuck it was called. Conservative Friends of Russia, was that what it was called? Yeah, that lot, and Vladimir Putin's strategic aims. But it's a win for the Greens, it's a win for the Lib Dems, it's a win for Plaid Cymru, it is a win for the SNP. It's a win for every party except RefUK. This is going to be a win. Call a public inquiry into Russian influence on UK politics and democracy. That's all it says, right? Get on that petition. Get on that petition, please. Wayne's in the chat. Hi, Wayne. Hey, Wayne. There was a Constable painting called the Hey Wayne. Hey, Wayne. See what I did there? Okay, so back to the Farage disaster. So, once you've signed the petition, come back to me. I'm sure I'm still tweeting in your ears. Farage's claim he never directly racially abused anyone. That's what he said. It's worth checking out this interview he gave yesterday, because he was so weaselly in this interview, where he was adding qualifiers like directly and with intent and in a hurtful way. Classic Farage Wurzel Gummidge wording, weasel wording, and nobody else uses this phrasing because normal people, didn't actually racially abuse their classmates in school. And his answer exposes guilt, not innocence. And we've got the testimony from Peter Edtugai. I think it's pronounced Edtugai. I might be pronouncing that wrong. If I am, please, if someone wants to tell me phonetically, please don't just spell the name out, because I know how it's spelled. But if you want to tell me how to pronounce that correctly, then I'll be forever in your debt. I will make a little note on my piece of paper so I can say the name correctly. Like Virginia Giuffre, which I had terrible difficulty with because that's not how it looks like it's pronounced, but that's apparently how it's pronounced. The BAFTA-winning director said that Farage growled Hitler was right and gassed them at him. He's Jewish, by the way, when they were 13, 14. Gassed them. He said that to a Jewish lad in school. And he sung a song called Gas Them All. And this is apparently playground banter as far as Farage is concerned. And he burnt a school roll, apparently, because there were more Patels than Smiths. Okay. And he targeted younger children and bullied them. A witness alleges that Farage had targeted him when he was 9, when Farage was 17. And this destroys the excuse that Farage was just like this when he entered his teens. And the fact that he said to black children, go back where you came from in school. In school, he did that. Listen, if he had spent the rest of his time being an anti-racism campaigner and saying, owning up to the mistakes he made in his past and said, look, I was a stupid kid. I was influenced by XYZ. I said some really shit things, and I'm really, really sorry. And I'm sorry to anyone that I offended and anyone that I upset. But he doesn't do that, does he? He goes, I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. The pattern of denial is just there. He initially denies everything. He then modifies his story. He says, "Oh well, I not with intent, not with intent." So when he's asked, "Were you a massive racist?" He said, "No, not with intent. I wasn't being racist with intent." Then he says he can't remember. Then he uses the modern standards defense, like, "Oh, it was a different time in the late 70s, early 80s. It was a different time." And then he pivots to this free speech bullshit. You know, like, oh well, you know, you can say what you like, can't you? Or you get cancelled. I saw a clip of someone complaining that they couldn't go and see comedians anymore because they've been cancelled. And he said, "Oh, who's been cancelled?" He said, "Roy Chubby Brown." And the host looked like literally typing at on the computer. Okay, so he's playing there tomorrow in Norfolk, and then he's playing up in Lincolnshire, and then he's playing in Cumbria, and then he gives 100 dates on his tour. And the guy's like, "Well, you know, that's a long way for me." And I'm like, "Well, there's 100 dates. I'm sure there's one of them that's near you. But you just said that he's been cancelled and he's doing this massive tour of the UK. So, yeah, explain that one." And then the fact that, you know, the same pattern that we see with Farage, where he initially denies everything and then says, turns, it's Darvo, isn't it? Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. This is the same pattern that we see time and time again from abusers who are finally confronted. And he is not being judged at this moment by the standards of a child. He is being judged by his response as a 61-year-old political leader of this party. His response shows no contrition, no empathy, because the guy's a motherfucking sociopath. Another reason he should be in fucking jail. No self-reflection, no accountability, only defensiveness. He is unfit for office. He is unfit for public life. I think he's unfit to be walking the streets. I think that motherfucker, Nigel Farage, should be in jail for what he did to this country and what he's done to this country. Put him in jail where he can do no more harm and his horrible little refuck party can creep back into the shadows from whence it came. And then you've got the Russia problem, which is entirely separate. Well, not really, is it? Because it's all bundled with his hatred of this country. A hatred of what this country is. He hates it. He hates it. He doesn't want this country to exist. He wants a fictionalized version of the 1950s where everyone was white and they all skipped along the village lane, avoiding the traffic and the smoking fumes and the lead and the petrol and the rationing. Bring back the rationing. Yeah, I think we should bring back rationing for baby boomers, which they'll fucking love it. They'll fucking love it. If only the only thing on offer to eat at the supermarket, is oh no, sorry, oh, you can have a semolina, rice pudding. That's it. That's all you get. All you can have for dinner is barbed wire and custard. That's it. That's it. Rusty barbed wire. There you go. Is your rusty barb? Oh, I get a little token. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? Oh, it reminds me of being a child. I'm getting half a jar of treacle from the sweet shop. Oh, there's an interesting theory about everyone on the internet is 12 that I want to talk about in a moment. But first of all, let's talk about Russia. Let's talk about Farage in Russia. So the leader of RefUK in Wales, as we explained last week, has been found to have taken pro-Russian bribes to deliver propaganda in Europe. Pleaded guilty, sentenced to 10.5 years. Not speculation. This is a conviction. Open and shut case. This is the first proven case of a UK politician taking Kremlin money for influence in modern times. And he worked for RefUK. He worked for Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage went on record to say that this was a lovely and honest man. He was just lovely and honest all the time. He was so lovely and just honest and lovely and honest. If Labour or the Lib Dems or the Greens had a proven Russian agent inside their leadership, the right-wing press would be calling for mass resignations. Obviously, because the right-wing press all went to school with Nigel Farage, effectively. They don't. They all look after their own because they all once collectively wanked into a hat together. Farage's long-standing pro-Russian rhetoric is there for everyone to see. You can look it up online, on YouTube. There are clips of him spouting pretty much the same thing that Nathan Gill said. Pretty much the same thing. He said he admired Putin as an operator. He said that Putin was the leader, the world leader that he admired the most. He appeared 17 times on Russia Today, getting paid to do that. That's the question that I would ask if I was allowed to be a journalist in this country. I'm not, because I didn't go to private school. But if I was allowed to ask Nigel Farage a question, I would ask him if he had ever taken money from the Russian state to promote Russia. And if he said no, I'll go, well, actually, you were paid by Russia Today, and I have the receipts. So you're a fucking liar. Why are you lying to us, Nigel? Why are you lying to me? Why are you lying to the other people in this room? Why are you lying to the people watching this? I want you to apologize for lying to the people watching this and say, I want a distinct, heartfelt apology for being a Russian stooge. How about that? Why didn't you give that apology, Nigel? Obviously, I wouldn't be allowed within 100 meters of the motherfucker, because they know what I'll say. But yeah, he appeared 17 times on Russia Today. He blamed NATO and the EU for the war in Ukraine. He said the West provoked the war in Ukraine, echoing Kremlin propaganda to the T. Yeah, I'm saying echoing. It's more like fucking Xeroxing. You know, and he has always, except he translates it into English, I suppose that was where the difference was. He has always attacked European unity, a key Russian objective. He is the man behind Brexit. Brexit wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for Nigel Farage. I know there are many people who broke Britain, but he is the keystone. Without Nigel Farage, Brexit wouldn't have happened. This is not coincidence. It is ideological lockstep with Russian propaganda, with what the Kremlin wants, which is what the murderous, tyrannical dictator Vladimir Putin, the man who had a plane blown out of the sky with 300 innocent civilians on board, the man who commissioned a murder and assassination on British soil, the botched assassination which led to the death of a British citizen, Dawn Sturgis, on British soil. The man who invaded Crimea, the man who invaded the whole of Ukraine at one point, but now he's been pushed back to the east. The man who razed Mariupol, the city, to the ground. The man who is the butcher of Bucha. The man who literally has kidnapped hundreds, maybe thousands of Ukrainian children to be sexually abused in Russia. That is Putin, and that is who Farage is shilling for. How dare these people who claim to be more British than British, these people who are like, I love my country, and they wrap themselves in the British flag, the bedspread's got a big fucking Spitfire on it, or a Hurricane, or a Wellington bomber or something, obsessed with the war, that they never fought in, that they can't remember because it finished before they were born. Absolutely fucking upset. Lest we forget putting up flags on every fucking lamppost to show how much they want to suck fucking Nigel Farage off. Oh, look at me, Nigel. I love you. You're amazing. Please give me some money. He's not going to give you any money because he's a rich motherfucker who went to private school, who worked in the City of London, who became a career politician, who was siphoning £1 million a year out of the EU when he was an MEP, giving some of that money to his wife, giving some of that money to his fucking mistress. Officially, he had his wife and his mistress on the fucking books as part of his staff when he was an MEP. That was your money, that. That was your tax that you were paying towards the European Union. You know, the 350 million a week, which wasn't even true. Being a member of the EU made us 2 billion a week. Profit. Which we don't get anymore. Because of Nigel Farage. 100 billion a year. 100 billion a year we've lost. 5 years. It's £500 billion. £500 billion. Fucking hate the guy. I fucking hate Nigel Farage. You know, they say you shouldn't wish bad things to happen to people. I wish bad things on him. Him, Trump, that fucking Matt Hancock motherfucker, Boris Johnson, Rees-Mogg, Michael Gove, Aaron Banks, Richard Tice, Andy Wigmore, Isabel Oak shit. I could just sit here and just read off all the motherfuckers. Well, not all of them, but like, you know, I've got hundreds of motherfuckers on my private school mafia list. They're all the people who've made your life shit. They're all the people who've made life shit. The reason why we are the way we are today, because these rich motherfuckers who don't want the rest of us to have what they have. They don't want us to have TVs. They don't want us to have holidays. They don't want us to have friends. They don't want us to have a bank account. They don't want us to have savings. They don't want us to have a pension because it devalues their pension. It devalues their savings. It devalues their friends. They don't have friends. That's why they're all so sad. That's why they're all dead inside, because they don't know whether the people who hang out with them are, actually hanging out with them because they like them or hanging out with them because they're rich and they're hoping that some crumbs will fall from the fucking table. Thinking, I'll be friends with you because I'll find out how I can use you. And there you go. Farage's worldview. It creates a welcoming environment for extremists, racists, and foreign influence actors. This isn't guilt by association. It's an ecosystem. Farage's RefUK party is a ecosystem for racist, Russophile gobshites who hate this country. And don't forget that. Farage hates this country. You need to point this out to the people who want to vote for him. Anyway, why we need a proper Russia inquiry. The 2020 Russia report was neutered. Johnson sat on it for months. When it was finally released after failed to win a rigged election, it admitted the UK never investigated Russian interference into the fraudulendum. Intelligence agencies were asked not to look at Russian interference in the fraudulendum. No forensic audit of Brexit spending. We still don't know where the £8 million that Aaron Banks gave to the Leave.eu fund, the biggest political donation in British political history. We still don't know where that money came from. There's been no audit. There's been no paper trail. We do not know. We can guess. We can guess where it came from, but we don't know. No forensic audit, no inquiry into donors, no inquiry into online influence, no inquiry into political actors on RT and Sputnik. The UK uniquely amongst democracies chose not to check if Russia interfered. Moldova checked if Russia interfered in its elections, and it did. Quelle surprise. They ran the election again, quite rightly. Martin Harrow, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. First of the day. Thank you very much, Martin. That is very kind of you. I still think I should be talking about something else, something that brings in more super chats. What brings in more super chats? Is it good news stories? Or is it just like the not talking about Farage? I don't know. But we'll finish off saying, what I was about to say. Farage is his relevance here with this inquiry. That's hopefully going to go ahead if enough people sign the petition. I've put the link to the petition in again. There it is. A real inquiry would examine Farage's Russia Today appearances, how much he was paid, what he said. His donors, including crypto donors linked to Russia, his proximity to Nathan Gill, his role in the Brexit ecosystem, his public alignment with Kremlin narratives and objectives, his influence on British politics, and this is why he doesn't want an inquiry. Although he said, we'll have an inquiry. I'm just not going to have one myself. I'm going to look into my own party in case there's anyone else working for Russia. I asked them all, and they said they're definitely all not working for Russia, and that's good enough for me. I asked them, I said, did you kill anyone? They all said no. And, they may have been covered in blood and holding weapons, but, they said no. So who's to say, really? So, yeah, please sign the petition. Share the petition. Pressure your MPs for this, right? This could be a massive pro-democracy moment. The public demanding transparency and also getting Farage thrown in jail in the process would be a welcome outcome from this inquiry. Inquiry even, not an enquiry, an inquiry. Different things. So, Farage, unfit for office, pattern of behaviour, racism allegations, spanning years, refusal to apologise, blaming modern standards, minimising the hurt cause, attracting extremists, hosting pro-Russia voices, leading a party with a proven Russian asset, evading scrutiny, rejecting accountability, and playing the victim. All this adds up to a man who is unfit for power. Tremendously unfit. He would be Britain's Trump. Absolutely. Just in it for the grift, in it for making money. Look at the way that Trump had like Trump Steaks and Trump University and all these little scams that he was running on the side. Farage does the same thing. He's got about fucking 14 extra jobs on top of his MP salary. Don't know where he gets the time. Although, his attendance in debates will show you where he gets the time from. Sid, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Just asking the questions, Nigel. Yeah, I love that. Just asking the question. I'm just asking the question. So, a leader should protect minorities, defend democracy, reject foreign interference, show accountability, and demonstrate moral growth. And Farage does none of these. So let's lay out the stakes right here, right now, okay? The UK lets Farage skate through racism allegations. And don't forget, this is the guy who reposted something posted by Andrew Tate last year, right? Just after little girls have been murdered in Southport. This little fucking creep, this bollock-faced gobshite, Nigel Farage, he went on Twitter and he said, I've heard from Andrew Tate that it was an asylum seeker who did this when there was no evidence at that point that it was an asylum seeker. And that led dozens, hundreds of meatheads to go to Southport and terrorize the community that was already terrorized, to terrorize the kids cowering in their houses while people in the streets screamed and shouted, fought with police, threw rocks, smashed windows. Those kids must have been absolutely fucking terrified. And those racists, those fucking, protect our women and girls motherfuckers. What was it? 1/3 of whom have got priors for domestic abuse. Yeah, that lot. Yeah, that he sent them. He sent them, and nothing was done. When the woman who said that the asylum seekers in the hotel should be murdered was put in jail. Right, the woman that Nigel Farage then went on to platform, the woman who pled guilty to an offence that was invented in the 1980s, not by the woke Labour government, 1 month into office. No, it wasn't Labour that brought that in. That was Maggie Thatcher, actually. She was found guilty. Well, she wasn't found guilty. She pled guilty, went to fucking jail, quite rightly, and then she's being platformed by Farage and his mates. Why is he not being taken to task for this? Why isn't he going to jail? So the people around him keep going to jail. Does it sound like Trump? Does it sound a lot like? Because it sounds a lot like Trump. And what did the Democrats do in America? They were too nice. They were too polite. And they were like, we can't go after him too hard because people might make him a martyr. I don't give a fuck if people are a martyr or not. I'm sure Osama bin Laden is a martyr to some. I'm still glad he's fucking dead. All right? Because he can't cause any more havoc himself personally. And I'm sure JFK is a martyr. I'm sure that MLK is a martyr. I'm sure that Robert Kennedy is a martyr. I'm sure that John Lennon is a martyr. Right? But does it change anything? Did Gandhi's death actually change anything in 1948? Did it? Fuck. India and Pakistan have been at each other's throats for over 70 years now. It makes no fucking difference, my friends. Don't make a martyr out of them. Fuck it. Make a martyr. I don't give a fuck. What are you going to do? People going to fucking go in the streets and riot because Nigel Farage is in jail? No, they're fucking not. No fucking way. No fucking way. Especially if you don't give him mouthpiece. Don't allow him to talk when he's in jail. Don't allow him access to the internet. That'll be important. Anyway, yeah, put him in. 10.5 years. That'll do. 10.5 years, no parole. Liz Allen, thank you very much for the $5. Nigel Haw. Yes, indeed, Liz. You're absolutely on the money there. Nigel Haw. Galloway was an MP here in Bradford West and was still reeling from his tenure, says Simon. Yeah, another grifter. Another bag of shite, as Freckle Puny puts it. Martin says, thankfully, not many of those around Merseyside, Colin, especially as they sent a load of early COVID patients here at the start, cleared out nurses' accommodation and stuck them in there. Okay, so, look, if we allow Farage to escape through these racism allegations and the Russian-linked scandals, it sets a precedent that racism is excusable, foreign interference is acceptable, accountability is optional, depending on whether you're rich or not, and populists get special treatment. And that's how democracies rot from the inside. So Farage wants to pretend none of this matters. We need to show that it fucking does. It very much fucking does. If you haven't signed the petition, I'll put the link into the chat again. Please sign the fucking petition. Please shine a light. Demand an inquiry. Sign the petition. You know? Farage wants to pretend that none of this matters. We want to show him that it fucking does. And this is a way that we can actually get rid of Farage, get rid of this toxic entity in our ecosystem. And you say, is that democratic, Graham? Is that really democratic? Yes, because he's trying to destroy democracy. In fact, it's an affront to democracy to not do this. When your democracy is being attacked from bad actors, foreign and domestic, it is your duty in the name of democracy to go after these motherfuckers and make sure that they can't do the things that they want to do. Look at what's happening in America right now. People are being rounded up, women and children at gunpoint, being taken away in the middle of the night, on the middle of the day by masked vigilantes who are the same people who stormed the Capitol in 2021. The best thing about martyrs is how quiet they go. Yes, exactly, Echo. It did. Honestly, it makes no fucking... was Hitler a martyr? Was he? No. They fucking defeated him. He fucking shot himself. They burnt his body. Happy fucking days. Happy fucking days. Pete Van den Kant, off topic. Has anyone watched Weapons? Yes, it's great, isn't it? Such a great film. It's a fun little horror movie. But which I really, really enjoyed. Although, I would say that if it did happen in real life, if that many kids went missing... Sorry, it's a minor spoiler, but it happened in the first few seconds of the movie. If that many kids went missing from a town, the national, international press would be there, everywhere, following everyone around. But no one turns up. It happens a lot in films. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is this theory that I saw people talk about this morning on the internet about everyone is 12. This is a theory called everyone is 12 on the internet. And the more I think about it, the more like... I see that this is actually possibly very much the case. Everyone is 12 now. Everyone is 12 now. So this is something that I think was last month, actually. But there was this idea that there was a Blue Sky user called Very Important Lawyer, and he wrote, I'm working on a new unified theory of American reality, and I'm calling it Everyone is 12 now. You know, I'm strong, and I want to have like 50 kids and a farm. Of course you do. You're 12. I don't want to eat vegetables, and I think steak and French fries is the only meal. Hell yeah, homie. You're 12 years old. You're 12. Maybe if there's crime, we should send in the army. Bless your heart, my 12-year-old buddy. I mean, it's been called the most important political thread of our time. I'm about a month late to the party, but you know, this could be the same way that the cruelty is the point dominated discourse during Trump's first term. Because everything that Trump does, and everything he says, and everything his little followers and acolytes do and say, is the words of a 12-year-old. A 12-year-old kid who doesn't know fucking shit about the world. And think about it. Think about how angry people get about veggie burgers, about vegan sausage rolls. Because they're 12. Penis Morgan going nuts because they've got a Greg's vegan sausage roll. And why are they eating vegetables? I don't want to eat vegetables. It's all right, Penis. You don't need to eat the vegetables. You're a grown-up now. If you don't want to eat the vegetables, you don't have... But no one should eat vegetables. Everyone should have steak and fries. That's the only meal to have. People bragging that they eat lots of meat, which is the weirdest thing. And I've thought about this before, not necessarily through the lens of everyone is 12 now, but I thought, like, why do people brag about that? That is like the maddest thing to brag. I only eat meat. Okay, cool. Strange culinary fucking desires that you have. You know, I like my food kind of like balanced. I like a balanced diet. Don't think there's too weird about that. But yeah, this is this is very much a political discourse. You look at anything Trump says now, and you can just go, he's 12. He's a 12-year-old. Look at the way that he's demolished half the fucking White House and put fucking spray gold plastic ornaments on the fucking wall, accoutrements on the wall. He's like, it's something like a 12-year-old will do when they're like, here you go, Johnny. Would you like a palace? Oh, I want a palace. I want everything to be gold. Because they're 12. They're 12 years old. And I've spoken before on the channel about the arrested development, and I've used that phrase before with a lot of these clowns. But I think this puts it so well, because you can imagine a 12-year-old spoilt brat, a rich kid, spoilt rich kid, wearing a blazer, calling their mum and dad mater and pater, you know, putting on a monocle because they want to look posh, and going, I demand steak every day. I that's all I eat. I just want burgers, because I'm 12. Oh, we going to McDonald's. Yay, I'm 12. Like, no adult gets excited about going to McDonald's. Have you thought about that? No one. No one goes off. People don't go, oh, yay, McDonald's. People go, oh, I'm really hungry. I need food in the next 30 seconds because my train's about to leave. I'll run into McDonald's and get something fucking really quick. And get some fucking chicken McNuggets or something. Or one of their horrible burgers. I mean, you get a milkshake. The milkshakes are all right. If the machines are working, which they never are. But still, OMG. And we've got Saz, who's been a member for 7 months. Ah, Saz, thank you. You're the best. You're the best. Wishing all the community here well and giving hugs. It's so nice. It's so nice. Greg's vegan steak bake is excellent, says Veg Pie. Hey, listen, I whenever I go to Greg's, I always buy a vegan sausage roll just because I know that every time you buy a vegan sausage roll, it makes Piers Morgan cry. And I like doing that. Simon says, the Austrian painter, according to DNA study, had a micro wiener. Yeah, I know. I'm one bollock, apparently. What next? Only just found out about 6-7 gestures in schools, says Colin Baker. Yep. I'm not vegetarian, but I'm off my chops. Hey! Dun, 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 dun. Martin says, I don't eat meat. I do eat lots of veggies, though. Meat replacement products didn't exist when I was a kid, so just got on with it. Yeah? Well, when I was in school and uni, my girlfriend was a vegetarian. And going out for a meal, if you ever went to a restaurant or something, there was only omelette. Like, we'll go to like a nice restaurant, and nice, you know, the Italian restaurant, and the only option for vegetarians was omelette. If you're a vegan, there were no options. Ms. Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. There's a movement in the US that celebrates their ability to drink milk because a lot of black people are lactose intolerant, to which I say, why are you still on baby food? Absolutely, Mr. That's a very good point. Neoteny, it's called. So when you're 4, you're supposed to become milk intolerant. The idea is that you can't have boob milk anymore because they didn't want adult humans running around needing boob milk still. So when you get to the age of 4, most human beings become lactose intolerant. They drink milk, they will be sick, right? They'll puke it up. So they have to go and eat, solid foods and stuff. Now, because of millennia of dairy farming in Europe in particular, our DNA is slightly altered, and humans who got some kind of European ancestry, or just a bit of a different ancestry to others, they are lactose tolerant, which is neoteny. Neoteny is keeping the features of a child or a baby into later life. So drinking milk as an adult is a form of neoteny. But here's the thing: if the milk is processed, so if it's made into cheese or it's made into yogurt, certain things, the people who are lactose intolerant can consume it. So that's why there's no problem with people who are lactose intolerant eating pizza, for instance, which is buffalo milk. Comes from a buffalo. The cheese you get on your pizza, that's not from a cow, it's from a fucking buffalo. That's mad, isn't it? Anyway, towards the Gregs. Thank you, Veg Pie, for the £2 super chat. Towards the Gregs. Onwards, towards Gregs. Forward, Gregs. And Kirsty Hamilton. Thank you so much, Kirsty, for the £5 super chat. Have been enjoying the animated stream this morning. Also signed petition chuckled at Pete's dad's jokes. Keep it going, Graham. Oh, thank you, Kirsty. That's very kind of you. One egg bacon. Are we sure refuck voters aren't suffering from ergotism? Pretty sure ergotism was the cause of a number of mass hysteria events like Salem, for example. I don't know. I don't know what egotism is. So yeah, I could look it up. Graham consults the dictionary, isn't a fascinating Graham's Dictionary Corner. Go on, let's look it up. Let's look it up. I love learning new words. Ergotism. Egogism. Egotism is a poisoning from a fungus which contaminates grains like rye, causing two main types of symptoms. Gangrenous ergotism, characterized by blood vessel constriction leading to tissue death, gangrene, and convulsive ergotism, which involve muscle spasms, hallucinations, and changes in mental state. Well, there you go. So it's a type of poisoning by eating food affected by ergo or ergot, typically resulting in headache, vomiting, diarrhea, gangrene of the fingers and toes. That's not fun, isn't it? Is it? Is it? Mass hysteria. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. Anyway, so I'm going to head over to the papers in a moment. But before I do, I just want to mention Arrested Development. That is deep. We all face different obstacles in our group. Hopefully you can prevail, says Tony. Yeah, I mean, I think that these spoilt brats who run the world, because they are spoiled brats, they're all nepo babies, they're all born of someone incredibly rich. I think that we need to just say to these people that they need to pay lots of tax, so much so that they're not rich anymore. That's what I think. I don't know, but apparently that's the politics of envy. I love it when people say that to me. The politics of envy. Look how envious you are, Graham. I just wish I had a private island as well. And a Guinness World Record. Anyway, moving swiftly on, we're going to go over to the papers. And today's one of those days where there's kind of a different news story on each newspaper. So we'll go over there now. Any more Vlad apples, Nigel? See what they did on the front cover of the Mirror there? I love a good pun. I love a good punnage. Bit of punnage. Never hurt no one. Call to probe other Putin links. As race row Farage says he was never hurtful. Obviously, that was the big news story. The story that I decided to go with today. But there it is on the front cover of the Mirror. Nigel Farage and his mate Nathan Gill, who looks like Julian Assange. It's very strange. We've also got the Times here. Ukraine and US tear up peace proposal for new 19-point plan. So they've gone down from 28 to 19 points. Reeves tells Labour MPs to unite for her budget. And then we've got a little kid who has found new energy thanks to British gene therapy for treatment for Hunter syndrome, which is an amazing medical breakthrough. So there's a bit of good news there. Kid's on his little trike. Nuclear fish disco saves one salmon a year. So this is one of these fucking stories, right, where they go, oh, they're only saving one salmon. Yeah, but they're doing more than that. It's not just about the individual species of fish. This is about the fact that at Hinkley Point C, the new nuclear power plant, they have a filter system to stop the fish coming into the intake that they have because they need a lot of water to run through the nuclear power station, and they don't want fish getting in there. And it's not just about the protection of the fish. They wouldn't do this kind of thing if it was just about the protection of the fish. They don't want fish getting in because fish fuck up the system, They need to be filtered out, and if they die in the filtering process, then that's a big fucking headache. It's a hassle. So they just don't want to allow fish in. They don't want to get fish in their intake. So they put things in place to stop fish getting in their intake. And they go, no, but this is making it. And I'm like, because they want to make nuclear power seem unaffordable, expensive, dangerous, which, you can argue that it is from certain aspects. But at the end of the day, it's not fossil fuel. And so the fossil fuel companies spend a lot of money saying, no, you don't want to do nuclear. What you want to do is hydrogen. Hydrogen. Get out the hydrogen. We're going to get hydrogen in 10 years' time. Something they've been saying all my life. All my life, I've heard that hydrogen is just around the corner. You're going to be able to power a car on a cup of water. Yeah, Yeah, you know, there was a guy, he made his car run on water, run on a cup of water, and then the next day, Ford came along, representatives of Ford and GM and Chrysler, they came along and they killed him, they killed his family, they killed all his friends, they just shot them dead in the street, and then they stole the car. They've never seen of again, yeah? I heard this story, it's true. And then he looked up, and then on the roof of the car, there was a banging, and they were told not to turn around. They turned around, and it was a guy with the boyfriend's head on a stick. And it's an entirely true story because a friend of a friend happened. It definitely happened to someone, a friend of a friend. Talking of urban legends. Oh, thank you very much, Urbane Legends, for the £2 super chat. It's just stupidity. Why don't you want fish in it? Exactly. And what I can pick says Atlantic salmon are a keystone species, meaning that they are important for the ecosystem. Yeah, and it's not about like stopping one fish getting in. It's about stopping all the fish getting in, you know, and other stuff apart from fish that might be coming down the I'm sure they don't want the sewage that the water companies are putting into the water, perhaps. I'm sure they don't want that either. But you know, whatever. This is a Murdoch rag. What do you expect? So in talking of rags, here we go. This is a Daily Telegraph, piece of shit newspaper. BBC in disarray over bias claims. Board members reveal sharp differences in opinion as Sharon insists he will not quit. And then we've got Starmer and Lammy escape mansion tax. So Keir Starmer and David Lammy are poised to escape Labour's mansion tax after the Treasury watered down plans to impose a surcharge on Britain's most valuable homes. Oh, okay. So what they've done there is they've said, we're going to bring in a mansion tax. And then all the millionaires and the billionaires who run these newspapers go, oh, I don't want a mansion tax. Tax my mansion. So we'll bring down the threshold a little bit. We'll push the threshold up, I guess. So your house has got to be X value, you know, in order to do this. And they're like, oh, I don't want that either. Because that means that Starmer's house and Lammy's house won't be taxed more. Okay, so we'll bring it back down. We'll bring the threshold back. No, you can't do that because they're my tax. Miss Paula Thomas, the gene therapy story is a world first. Yeah, it's a real amazing story, and it gives hope to a lot of these genetic conditions that blight the lives of millions of people around the world. Being able to, CRISPR out those genes, get rid of those genes that are a bit faulty. Another first from Manchester, says Mr. Tisk. Yes, along with the computer and Vimto. Luke, arise, Sir Kevin. Luke Littler has stepped up to the Oki and backed our campaign to give Kevin Sinfield a knighthood. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. I'll give him a knighthood. I don't care. And then we've got pensioners in battle to keep homes warm. Many older people will struggle to heat their homes without help with the cost of living. Rachel Reeves has been warned. Pensioners are going to get an extra fucking £1,000 a year in this fucking budget. I guarantee it. But there you go. Except for I said the other day it was 1 in 5 pensioners are millionaires. It's not. It's 27% now. 27%. That's crazy, isn't it? That is crazy. Nuclear weapons leaks into the Clyde and sue Sapper to block report. Oh dear, that's not good. And we have a wonderful, wonderful super chat here from Viper Scott. Thank you, Alistair. 4 did to get confetti. So we need one more super chat and we will have confetti, which is very exciting. And ChatGPT helped this woman look 10 years younger. I'm sorry, what? What? That's a story? You typed into ChatGPT, make me 10 years younger? You know, like face swap and stuff has been around for like over a decade now. You know, people would make themselves look younger using apps and things on Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok. You know, that's been a thing for Daily Mail, down with the kids. Now Reeves hits prudent savers as she prepares 15 billion welfare splurge. Chancellor to slash annual cash ISA from 20,000 to 12,000. Oh, Viper Scott, stop. Confetti time. Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. That is very, very kind of you. And we can now celebrate with confetti. Boom. We did it. We did it together. We did it. Thank you very much to Viper Scott, Miss Paula Thomas, Ebony Legends, and everyone else who gave a super chat and allowed the confetti to roam free. So basically, we've got this story about Rachel Reeves, and she's the annual cash ISA. So this is the amount of money that you can save tax-free a year has been cut from £20,000 to £12,000. Okay, cool. I mean, you know, fair enough. Because the thing is, right, if you're earning fuck all, right, after earning 12.5 grand, you got to start paying tax on your income. But if, you put all that extra money that you get into an ISA, then you get that tax-free. But generally people who are on minimum wage and working 0-hour contracts might not know about that and might not be able to anyway because they need each available pound to spend on food to feed their children or to keep the house warm, to pay the rent, pay the mortgage. So it's a bit unfair because the people who can afford to save each month are generally the rich. So ISAs benefit the rich, don't they? It's not about being prudent with your money when you literally cannot save because every pound that you have needs to be spent on staying alive, keeping a roof over your head. What is an ISA? It's a savings account, and usually your savings are taxed, but you are allowed a tax-free allowance up to 20 grand. But that's going to be cut now to 2 grand a month. But yeah, my calculator gives me a smiley face. Oh, nice. I wonder if Rachel Reeves' calculator gives her a smiley face. 1 year ago today, I'm really clear. I'm not coming back with more borrowing or more taxes. Yeah, that's what she said. That's what she said last year because that was before that budget. This is this budget. Whatever. I mean, it's all right for Nigel Farage to be a massive racist in the past, but you can't call him up on that now because it was the past. But Rachel Reeves, when she said something a year ago, and now the situation's changed. Mansion tax will cause Labour a world of trouble in budget, warns top economist, probably a very rich economist. Don't tax my mansion, says top economist. Tax on most valuable properties will be a sticking plaster for the government and risk being mishandled, cautions IFS chief Paul Johnson on the eve of the budget. Should we look up this Paul Johnson while you read the rest of the headlines to yourselves? IFS, Paul Johnson. There's going to be lots of Paul Johnsons, I think. Oh no, there we go. Paul Johnson, economist. There you go. Born 1967. He was educated at the King's Manor School, Shoreham-on-Sea. Oh, okay, that was comprehensive. Okay, so he went to a comp. That's all right. But his first job was at the Institute for Fiscal Studies. So he studies the economy, which maybe one day I'll get a proper job. But yeah, at least he's not privately educated. I was a bit worried there. It'd be like, you're going to cause a lot of trouble if you tax us rich people. And then we've got The Guardian over here. Jimmy Cliff sadly passed away. His music lifted people through hard times. So saw Jimmy Cliff playing at Glastonbury. I think it was 2008. It was fucking magical. Absolutely. He did Hakuna Matata from The Lion King. It was so good. It was so good. Anyway, he has departed us, as has Udo Kier, who was a guy who was like in every fucking movie ever. I think he had like 1,000 credits to his name. He just used to pop up in loads of stuff. Was Udo Kier in Command and Conquer? Was he? He was in like The Story of O. He was in. It was incredibly prolific, known primarily as a character actor who portrayed eccentric and deviant figures. He was he was in Blade. He was in Spy Games. He was in Dogville. He was in Blood Rain. He was in he was in Mother of Tears. What the hell? Melancholia. He was in Melancholia. He was in oh my god. The latest film he was in was The Secret Agent, or O Agent Secreto, which is a Brazilian film. set during a Brazilian dictatorship. He was also in loads of TV stuff. He was in Dracula 3000. Fucking brilliant. He was also in Command and Conquer. I'm right. Red Alert 2. He was in Command and Conquer Yuri's Revenge. He was also in the music video for Erotica by Madonna and Deeper and Deeper. He was in the music video for Naked by the Goo Goo Dolls. He was in You Win, I Lose by Supertramp. He was in the Make Me Bad video for Korn. I mean, just what a guy. What a guy. Anyway, Udo Kier, sadly, no longer with us. Kier spelled I-E, not E-I, like Keir Starmer. Kane Lips says, Gallifreyan Ren. But yeah, bit sad to lose Jimmy Cliff and Udo Kier on the same day. Sad that we live in a world now where there's no more Jimmy Cliff, but there still is a Nigel Farage. Oh well, there's still a Rupert Murdoch. God, the confetti we're gonna have when that motherfucker disappears. Woo! Loved Command and Conquer. It's fucking brilliant, wasn't it? Tim Curry, Command and Conquer. The last place at capital, the escape from capitalism in space. And so we're going to go over to the Metro next, actually. Before we get to I think we should go to the FT last, don't you? Because I feel like the FT is the sensible newspaper that we really need to have a look at, whereas the rest of them is just, let's look over the headline, let's see what Royal left put on the front cover, whatever. So we'll go to the Metro next, which I like the crossword in the Metro. I like the cryptic crossword because it only uses words I know. It's like Wordle. It only uses words I know. It's fine. You'll get there. Landmark day for new protection orders. 1,000 abuse victims safer. This is Jess Phillips hailing the domestic abuse protection orders, or DAPOs, I guess. And these limit victims' movements. Sorry, victims. They limit perpetrators' movements, and they have breaches punishable by up to 5 years in jail. This is because of violent attacks on women that have been made by people who have gone to jail for violent attacks on women or stalking women, and then as soon as they've got out, they have gone round to the house of the woman that they attacked and abused them more, making them live in fear. And yeah, I have a friend who's no longer with us, and this is what happened to her. So yeah, this is a campaign that is absolutely necessary right now. I suppose it was necessary years ago. Maybe my friend would still be with us if it was. But hopefully this will make women and girls safer in our communities from these fucking monsters, these fucking absolute fucking monsters. Someone pointed out to me yesterday that isn't it funny that we're going on about the male loneliness epidemic, and they're like, oh, now that it's cisgender men who are lonely, it's a big issue, right? Not to say that it isn't a problem. I mean, it clearly is. But when it was single mums who were lonely, when it was black people or Asian people who were lonely because they didn't have anyone else in there, that they could talk to, they grew up with from the place where they grew up because they were moved here as a kid, or gay people who were lonely because they were the only gay in the village, the only person who, there was no gay bars, they couldn't be out, they couldn't tell anyone, they couldn't get with anyone because they didn't want to get with a member of the opposite sex, and if they got with a member of the same sex, they'd be ostracized by their family. What about the loneliness of all that? That was just pushed aside, wasn't it? No one even thought about it. But now it's cisgender heterosexual men who are lonely. Suddenly it's an epidemic. Suddenly it's a big thing that we have to do something about. And you know what? Okay, great. Let's do stuff about people's loneliness. But don't make it about men. Don't make it all about, the male loneliness epidemic. It's just a loneliness epidemic. But it's always been there. It's just never affected men before. But yeah. 15 years in a slammer, but a bit low. I mean, but then it's not just about the fact that they, you see, because the way it was, if someone got out of jail after X many years for beating up their partner, they could go straight out of jail and knock on the door of their partner, and it wasn't necessarily causing, unless they actually assaulted their partner, their former partner, I guess at this point, then unless they actually assaulted them, I don't think it was a crime unless there was a restraining order put in place. This makes it automatic. This makes it automatic that you can't go within X amount of, the distance of that person's home. And if you do, someone who's been done for stalking, someone who's been done for sexual assault, domestic violence, if you do go within 100 meters of that person, that you get arrested and you can get put in jail for another 5 years. So don't fucking do it. Yes, nice start to a career, which took them then to rough inner city areas. Urbane Legend, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. No one cares about it really. It's just to distract from regulating the algorithms of social media. They're pushing it on being a societal issue. Yeah. Hey, did anyone hear about the survey that Facebook was doing, the study that Facebook was doing into the fact that when people stopped using Facebook, they became a lot happier? And then they stopped the study. Don't hear about this. Let's Facebook. Let's go over to Facebook to find this study. Oh God, fucking adverts. The end-shitification of everything. I think end-shitification is going to be the word of the decade, isn't it? It's got to be. Here we go. Meta halted internal research suggesting social media harm. Meta halted internal research that purportedly showed people who stopped using Facebook became less depressed and anxious, according to a legal filing containing newly unredacted information that was released on Friday. The legal brief is related to a high-profile multi-district litigation with plaintiffs such as school districts, parents, and state attorneys general against companies like Meta, YouTube, Snap, and TikTok. We strongly disagree with these allegations, which rely on cherry-picked quotes and misinformed opinions in an attempt to present a deliberately misleading picture, Meta spokesman Andy Stone said in a statement, which is hilarious because literally it was their own... it was their own internal research that showed that people were happier when they weren't using Facebook. So there you go. If you want to have a read of that yourself, there's the link in the chat. I became happier when I stopped using Twitter. Yeah, I don't use Twitter at all now. At all. Haven't used it for months and months and months. Except I went on once to call Elon Musk a twat on one of my accounts that wasn't blocked because I wanted to get that one blocked as well. My at every country account has been suspended. It's been suspended for quite a while now, and I don't give a fuck. Even though I rarely used it, I do feel better for deleting it, says Gallifreyan Ren. Well, I stopped using Facebook really in the extent that I was using it in the November of 2020 because they suspended my account, right, for a week or something. And it was during the presidential election when I wanted to be writing political stuff all over me fucking Facebook wall, as is my want. And cock jokes and politics. That's what you come to me for. Anyway, the reason why I was suspended for a week was because I reposted an article from The Guardian about Bolsonaro's deforestation of the Amazon rainforest. And I put as the line, above it, O-H full stop, O. As in, I didn't expect this to happen when I totally did. Here's something that we completely predicted when Bolsonaro, who's now in jail, was president of the United States of Brazil. Sorry. Anyway, so we're going to go back over to the papers for The Independent. There's David Cameron. Like David Cameron, I have prostate cancer. This is what men need to know. Do you know what men need to know? That David Cameron and Gideon Osborne, his chancellor, privately educated, of course, went destroyed the NHS and stopped people getting scanned for cancer, and they stopped. They made the waiting list go from 2.5 million which it was in 2010, to 7.5 million when they left office. 7.5 million when the Tories left office. 7.5. They increased the waiting the waiting list numbers by 3. Fucking disgraceful. Absolutely fucking disgraceful. And I'm sad that the guy had prostate cancer. That is really shit. But obviously he had the money to get screened early and got treatment for it. Whereas the rest of us have to fucking wait. Because of what he did. Because of what that motherfucker did. Bit rich. Anyway, there's Jimmy Cliff there. And an advert for start downloading things. I don't want to start a download. Jim, would you like some malware, Graham? Oh, no, thanks. Don't want any malware. Jamaican reggae icon Jimmy Cliff dies at age 81. Jamaica's Prime Minister called the singer a cultural giant who carried the heart of our nation to the world. I've got to say, and I've said this before, like 3 countries, Britain, the US, and Jamaica. And yes, I know there is some fucking fantastic bands and music and artists from other countries. There absolutely are. But for influence on music, America, the UK, and Jamaica. Well, I'd say the UK and Jamaica punch above their weight, and Jamaica so much so. You wouldn't believe how much music that you've listened to in your life that essentially came from the Jamaican sounds, music from Jamaica in the 50s and 60s, which influenced absolutely everything, which came afterwards. You'll be surprised. You'd be surprised. But like for a tiny country like Jamaica to just produce so much musical talent is just mind-blowing. And one of the things I learned while I was traveling to every country in the world is that if you want to put some music on, and you have people from anywhere in the world, doesn't matter what country they're from. They come from Eswatini or from Papua New Guinea or from Argentina or from Greenland. Doesn't matter. Put some Bob Marley on. Just put some, no one objects to Bob Marley. I'm going to find someone in the chat now who goes, I fucking hate Bob Marley. But generally speaking, if you put Bob Marley on, you're not going to have someone saying, I fucking hate Bob Marley. Because like, how can you hate Bob Marley? It's just nice music. It's just fucking awesome. It's so well put together. Just a perfect fucking sandwich. Anyway, so back to the papers. Reeves warned of growth crisis on eve of budget. Watchdog to slash forecast for 2026 and every year of this parliament. Business secretary admits Britain is trapped in a growth emergency. Scottish Labour leader tells Chancellor she needs to restore voter trust. It's a bit of a non-story story, that, isn't it? Bit of a non-story story. And finally, we're going to head over to the Financial Times, the FT, the Fun Day Sunday, and we're going to have the US and Ukraine positive over peace plan that leaves big calls to presidents. Draft revised after Geneva talks. Kyiv's points taken on board. Kremlin yet to see new proposals. We've got the briefing here. Should we go through the briefing above me? Okay. Novo Nordisk slides 10% after Alzheimer's setback. This is shares in the Danish drug maker. One of Europe's largest listing companies have slumped after it said one of its diabetes drugs had failed in late-stage trials to slow the progress of Alzheimer's, probably because it was a diabetes drug and not an Alzheimer's drug. Heathrow runway backed. Ministers have supported a £49 billion proposal to build a new runway across the M25 motorway, in spite of airlines warning that the project will make the airport much more expensive. Mansion tax takes shape. Rachel Reeves is set to apply a tax surcharge on houses worth more than $2 million in a move likely to hit more than 100,000 homes and damp prices at the top end of the market. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo! Oh, those poor bastards in their £2 million homes. My heart goes out to them. City press to praise Reeves's budget as lenders win reprieve from tax rises. Banks have been asked to make prominent public endorsements of the budget this week as Chancellor Rachel Reeves prepares to spare the sector from any tax-raising moves. Yeah, lenders win reprieve from tax rises. Are you sure? Yeah, sure. Do you know what's going on? We've got the axis of obstruction story here on the left-hand side of the page. Axis of obstruction. Great term for it. Barr's way to quitting fossil fuels. Why can't I quit, yo? Because you're just too much money. Just too much money. The UN COP30 summit in Brazil nearly ended in collapse when efforts to refer to fossil fuels or bold climate ambitions in the final pact were thwarted. They were blocked by a group led by Saudi Arabia and Russia. What a surprise. Look, I'm flailing. I'm flailing in space because of my shock. My shock and awe. But two separate roadmap initiatives on fossil fuels and deforestation did offer activists hope. A little bit of hope. Derailed by Saudi Arabia and Russia, two countries that just love to fucking kill people. They love human beings dead. They throw them out of windows, they cut them up with bone saws, they chop their heads off, they throw stones at them until they die of internal bleeding. They drop them out of aeroplanes, they blow them up in aeroplanes, they just fucking kill them with Novichok, they just fucking kill them with polonium, they just fucking kill them. Kill, and kill again. They wake up in the morning, and we got to kill some people today. Yes, let's go and kill some people today, because that's their fucking attitude. Human beings are just there for the fucking slaughter, and they get off on it. They turn up at a public execution and have a big wank watching people die, because they are sick motherfuckers and shouldn't be in charge of fucking anything. Not allowed to fucking host a World Cup or to, I don't know, derail at the 30th fucking COP summit, which ends in fucking failure because they're like, oh, we don't want to stop people using fossil fuels because they make all their money from fossil fuels and they need the money in order to more effectively execute everyone they disagree with or who looks at them funny or who's gay or a woman or a different colour or whatever reason. Whatever fucking reason. Or Ukrainian. Or a Ukrainian child. You know, how dare you be a Ukrainian child? I'm going to unalive you now, says Vladimir Putin, the sick fuck. Ms. Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. According to the Kyiv Post, one of the things that has gone is the limit on Ukrainian armed force numbers. Good, because that was the most well, I mean, there was a lot of things in there that were fucking ridiculous, but that one particularly. Yeah, and then back into the news in brief. Lawyers feel the strain. 2 in 5 associates of big law firms plan to leave their jobs in the next 5 years because of stress and insufficient support from their bosses. Oh, those poor lawyers. Won't somebody think of the lawyers? We've got Binance in Hamas lawsuit. What? So Changpeng Zhao, the crypto exchange founder, pardoned by Donald Trump, has been accused of facilitating payments to Hamas. It's almost as though crypto is used for really bad things. Almost. BHP drops Anglo Pursuit. The Australian miners BHP Billiton has said that it does not intend, I don't know if it's called BHP Billiton anymore, it just might be BHP, maybe they've streamlined their name. Does not intend to bid for Anglo American after attempting to gatecrash its smaller rivals in pending merger with Tech Resources. EU on guard against China. Brussels is planning to tighten its foreign investment rules to ensure that Chinese companies do not profit from the EU's open market without benefiting local workers but sharing technology. Okay. And then we've got brain and brawn team up. People with more muscle mass tend to suffer less brain aging, scientists have found, highlighting a potential downside of using weight loss drugs that lead to loss of brawn as well as fat. So don't be too skinny because, don't be too fat, don't be too skinny. That's the rules. I've got to say, right, I went to see Wicked, right, the weekend, and it was good, right? I enjoyed it. Ariana Grande is not looking healthy. She's really, really, really not looking healthy. And I think this is very, very dangerous. Not just for her, because obviously once your body gets to a certain level of skinniness, it starts eating you. You know, when you're losing weight, your body's eating your fat, right? It's eating your fat away, and you're breathing it out. It's a weird thing that you breathe out a lot of your fat. But then once all that fat's gone and your body's still looking for resources, it starts taking it from mad places, like your fucking bone marrow. And that leads to really serious health complications. And there is a trend seemingly in Hollywood right now, or in celebrity circles, for the ultra skinny look, which I hoped had gone away in the 1990s. But apparently it's back. And the reason why I say it's dangerous, not just for Ariana Grande, is because there's a lot of Ariana Grande fans who want to look like her, who want to be like her. And if they see how skinny she is, they might go, oh, I think I'll be that skinny. And if they do that, it can lead to really serious health implications. And this is something that, I worry about, as a stepdad to two stepdaughters. One's a teenager, the other one's not quite yet. But Viper Scott says, agree, Graham, I was shocked to see her. She is too thin. Yeah, and I know, look, I know it's not great to be commenting on people's bodies in this way, and I normally wouldn't go down this route, especially if, I felt like she had put on weight. I honestly wouldn't care. But when it comes to this, when it comes to actual things that can have the influence that causes bad health outcomes for lots of people, then I do worry. I do worry because these celebrities do set the trends. It's why people are injecting fish sperm into their face now and fucking fillers so they look like a fucking chipmunk. I mean, I just it just gives me the ick, especially when you hear about young people who are getting these jobs done on their faces that were really for people in their 40s and 50s because they thought they, to get rid of their wrinkles. And these women and these men who don't have any wrinkles are having these procedures done to them. And the thing is, every time you inject your face with something, there is a chance that it could go horribly wrong. Like when people get vaccinations, one of the things that can cause an adverse effect of the vaccination isn't the vaccination itself in a lot of cases. It's the fucking needle going into your arm, piercing your skin, and your reaction to that. A lot of the people watching this would have had a BCG in school and still had the scar from it. Do you remember? Have you still got your BCG scar? A lot of people have. And that is something where it's like, that's the needle going in, and whatever the way it worked caused us quite a significant scar for people getting that vaccination for tuberculosis. It's it's all a bit grim. Seen Sharon Osbourne lately? No, I haven't. Did the unnecessarily thinness fad ever go away? Seen like all my life it's been pushed, says Gallifreyan Man. Yeah, I mean, I'm good friends with a plus size model and Hannah on this channel. But also like I think that gone away a bit. I mean, I'm not talking about people being slim or wanting to lose weight, but Weight Watchers wound up, didn't it? Isn't Weight Watchers a thing anymore? Because is weightwatchers.com still a thing? Because you can't take the twat out of weightwatchers.com. You can't write weightwatchers.com without writing twat in the middle of the name of it. Weight Watchers. I'm sure I read something about like Weight Watchers, not weight loss. Choose to find a workshop. Oh, okay, maybe it's still going. I'm sure I've read something about Weight Watchers filing for bankruptcy. It's because they had twat in their name. Hannah is gorgeous, says Martin. Yes, she is. My partner's big Middle Eastern family are all into nose jobs, lift fillers, and hair transplants a lot. Mar-a-Lago face. Martin says, Ariana is amazing. I don't like her music, but her attitude after the Manchester bombing was incredible. Going back soon after must have hit her hard after that. Yeah, and this is why, like, again, normally I wouldn't say anything, especially with someone like Ariana Grande, who has suffered from mental health problems, understandable mental health issues as a result of what happened in the bombing in 2017 at the Manchester Arena. But yeah, it's not just her. It's not just her. And this is tied in possibly with the rise of these weight loss jabs that people are taking. And, if these jabs help you get to a healthy weight, great. But there is always that worry that people get to a healthy weight and then they realize it's not enough. They want more. They want more. They want more. And that leads to eating disorders, things like bulimia, anorexia. But also it leads to damage to people's mental states as well. There's a lot of issues, not just physical problems that you get from being that skinny, but also mental health problems. And also there's that thing of like, food is great. I mean, as you can probably tell, I like food. I can eat food all day if they let me. But yeah, I do feel like I always felt sorry for in a weird way. Posh Spice, Victoria Beckham. Was it her, or maybe it was Gwyneth Paltrow? I don't know. One of the two. I thought maybe it was Gwyneth Paltrow. I think it was the one. Yeah, I think she was married to Chris Martin, wasn't she? Of Coldplay fame. And apparently she just ate the most boring food every day. It's like, I think it was like porridge or something. It was like something really boring. And that's all she ate every day for every meal. And I was like, oh my God, you're only here once. There were so many amazing, beautiful foods to eat, so many flavors to enjoy, so much texture and heat and delight, and just I don't know. I can see why going down the route of these being permanently on a diet does impact people's mental health, because I think food is a joy. It's really like when I was traveling, just getting your street food from Ghana. I had the best street food I've ever had in my fucking life from Ghana. I wasn't expecting it in Ghana, but apparently, yeah. And I've looked it up since. Ghana's got really, really good food. Just delicious, delicious food. It's kind of like, imagine like comfort food, like Eastern European comfort food, but spicy and nice. Do you know what I mean? Like exciting comfort food. Is that a way of describing it? I don't know. It's just this real beautiful dishes that they have there. I wasn't expecting that. The best meal I've ever had in my life, I had in West Papua, in a place called Jayapura. Absolutely fucking fantastic. Sweet and sour squid, if you were wondering what it was. Ariana Grande sounds like she's on her Britney Spears arc. No, I don't think so. I don't think she's going to that extent. And Britney Spears was just the way that the press went after her was reminiscent of the way that the press went after Princess Diana, and where everything she said, everything she did was analysed, commented on. Imagine living through that. I've got a lot of sympathy for some of these celebrities who go through this, especially at a young age, like Princess Diana, like Ariana Grande or Britney Spears. Imagine like you had someone following you all day, every day, pointing out when you fucked up, saying, "Oh no, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right," and then printing what you did each day on a pamphlet and handing it out to 100,000 people around the country, going, "Look what she did. Look what he did." Okay, cool. I'm really glad that you'd let me know. Amy Winehouse as well, just absolutely hounded by the press and taken advantage of by men in the system, usually men. In the case of Amy Winehouse, in the case of Britney Spears, and many, many others. It's just really grim. It's just really grim. And so, like, I don't want to be sitting here going, "Oh, Ariana Grande should just eat a fucking Greg's vegan sausage roll." But at the same time, I do understand that she has got a massive fandom, and she's great at what she does. Although I've seen every episode of Sam and Cat because my kids loved it when they were younger, and her voice in that is really annoying because she puts on like this ditzy voice, which isn't her real voice. But yeah, apart from that, I don't know. I don't know how you approach this. I don't know how you don't say it in a way that is, vilifying Ariana Grande because I don't think she deserves that. But at the same time, I really don't think it's helpful for someone to be in the public eye and that skinny. And one I can pick is I struggle to eat much. Damn swine flu, bloody hell. So I've never understood the want to be super skinny. Had a couple of friends who went down that route and they made themselves so fucking ill. They hated it. I hated to see it. Yeah. People make themselves ill getting skinny. And it's like, well, you're kind of gorgeous the way you are. Don't worry about it, you know? And I hope that as a society, we were moving towards a state where people were happy with someone who was happy with themselves than someone who was constantly worrying about their weight. And so people chilled out a bit more. And I think that chill is gone now. But I never understood any of it. You know, I don't understand why. Well, I do understand there's money to be made, clearly. But like, you know, the way people in this country go for sunbed tanning and go on holiday and they sit there in the sun's radioactive waves and give themselves skin cancer to get themselves a tan because they're too white and they want to be browner. Too white, they want to be browner. And then you go to Malaysia, Singapore, and you go into a Boots there or their equivalent of Boots, and everything is skin whitening cream because the people who live there who are brown don't want to be brown. They want to be white. There's money to be made, so they're told it's not right to be brown. You need to be white. Over here, it's not right to be white. You need to be brown. And it's funny as well that a lot of people who are like massive fucking racists go and try to make themselves more brown every opportunity. I've never really got that either. But yeah, whatever. I eat a lot of beans and rice in my pressure cooker. Fortunately, you can gussy it up in a lot of ways, says Liz Allen. We have a male friend who's taken weight loss jabs and looking ill now. Drawn. What was so sad with Amy is it was also made it so inevitable. The media has a lot to answer for. Yeah, absolutely. The grass is always greener, says Nick. Yeah. I feel sorry for people who seek fame all their lives, get 5 minutes of it and vanish. What have they got left to aspire to? Oh, I feel seen, Acro Dave. Thank you. I had my 5 minutes of fame when I went to every country in the world. Gave 7 TED Talks, including one in California, like a proper TED Talk. Not a TEDx, a proper TED Talk. Appeared on all the TV channels in the country. With the exception of Channel 5. Got on CNN, MSNBC, Associated French Press. Oh, it's great. Great days. Then I won in Ireland. Anyway. And then Brexit came. Fucking derailed my career. So where do those people go? I don't know. Yeah. Martin Harrow, I feel your pain, Graham. Our eldest watched all of Sam and Cat too. You know what? I like the other actress, the one who wasn't Ariana Grande. I really liked her. I thought she was a great comedian and really funny. But Ariana Grande, because she was just playing the ditzy one, and ditzy people kind of annoy me. That's why Joey wasn't my favourite member of Friends. Obviously, it was Chandler because he just made funny jokes that no one ever laughed at. The studio audience laughed at his jokes, but his mates never laughed at any of his jokes for the whole of the run of Friends. But yeah, no, I didn't like Joey for 2 reasons. 1, because he was ditzy. And 2, because he didn't share food. And you know what, right? I want to say this, and I know I've said this before, but it is got to be pointed out that the only friend in the TV show Friends who didn't end up in a relationship at the end of Friends was Joey. And it was because he didn't share food. Even Ross, as annoying as Ross is, managed to get this woman who gave up her career so she could stay with the most boring, tedious man in the world in New York. Even Ross ended up with a girlfriend. Mr. Tusk, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Seeing Guardian, Len Shan cleared. Okay. Here we go. Cryptic crossword. Len Shan cleared. Len Shan cleared. Let's see what's happening. Thanks for the super chat. Ian Lynch. No. No, nothing's coming. Right, okay, I'll have to go to the Guardian website. Hang on a sec, Mr. Tisk. DWP scandal. Damning report finds many unpaid carers left with huge debt because of government failure. DWP to reassess hundreds of thousands of cases in carers allowance scandal. Is that where people like me weren't given carers allowance because we've been out the country too long? Okay. Graham Linehan cleared of harassing trans activist but convicted of damaging phone. Irish comedy writer cleared at Westminster Magistrates Court of harassing Sophia Brooks. That's sad that he's been found innocent of that, but he has been found guilty of criminal damage to their mobile phone. Bit of a shame he wasn't done for harassment. He is a piece of shit. I'd quite like him to go to jail. Lenihan says one angry pagan in capitals. No, it's Linehan. It's spelled Linehan. Linehan. Like Lineker. You're a real celebrity. You automatically thought my comment was about you, says Acro. Well, 5 minutes of fame. Where are they now? Where are they? They're hosting YouTube channels. Anyway, so I'm going to get rid of that picture of Graham Linehan because I fucking hate him. Oh, Ivan, with the last super chat of the morning, I think. Thank you very much to Ivan for the £10 super chat. I had to push back in the Labour Party meeting online last night. Someone said we need to get up from our computers and go out door knocking. I said some of us can't go out and we all have worth. Yeah, that's fair enough, Ivan. I think that there's a place for everybody in with different abilities in the Labour Party. I personally, I find door knocking a bit fucking soul destroying, to be honest with you. Like, I've done it with my local MP here. I've done it with local councillors, and you knock on the door and no one answers, and then you knock on the next door and nobody answers, and you get to like a 10th door, and then finally someone answers the door and they go, I'm voting for RefUK, and then they slam the door in your face and you're just like, okay. But yes. Nick says, despite owning a private island, Graham's retained his socialist roots. Winning a private island, Nick. I didn't get it off. Wasn't handed it down from ancestral wealth. But yeah. But yeah, thanks. Thank you very much, Nick, for that. And thanks to Ivan for the super chat. And thanks, Mr. Tisk. I'm pissed off that Graham Linehan's been fucking cleared. He's a fucking gobshite, that man. But there you go. Okay, so bit of bad news, but we had that good news earlier about the gene therapy treatments for Huntington's. Is it Huntington's? Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. We needed a bit of good news. Hunter syndrome. Sorry, not Huntington's. Hunter syndrome. Is that where people turn into hunters? Is that like you go out and you hunt things? I'm going to try and not let this latest dose of Turf Island depress me. Try being the operative word. No, don't let it depress you, because at least he got done for smashing up a mobile phone. Hopefully he'll get 10 years for that. Fingers crossed. But then Graham Linehan, privately educated, of course. I'm not saying I'm right about this whole thing about all the privately educated people getting away with murder, but I'm totally right about this thing about privately educated people getting away with murder. Oh no, he can't possibly have harassed anyone. He's very posh. No, Lord Lucan couldn't possibly have murdered his nanny because, he's very posh. Cleared, so on to his next target. Yeah, probably. He's going for racism now. He said about our friend Femi. He made a racial slur against our friend Femi. Also, J.K. Rowling, massive racist, who claims that every black woman is actually not really a woman. But this idea that we're gonna judge people on their looks, whether they can use the toilet or not, is just gonna backfire in these TERFs' faces, because they're all so fucking clocky. It's painful. They're not gonna be able to go for a piss. They fuck themselves. They want to carry a little bucket around. Fucking dickheads. A lot of Flavour of the Month comedians become born again twats as soon as their fame fades. Well, I don't think they come born again twats as soon as their fame fades. I think more accurately, it's when the allegations of sexual misconduct come out. Yeah. I'm not going to. What's that? Get that island. Tax. Says urbane legend. Well, when I sell the island, I'm presumably got to pay capital gains tax on it. So yeah, we'll be taxed when I finally can sell it, which is a process. Okay. Oh, very good. Someone's put up a picture of Nigel Farage and Richard Tice, and it's them as from Dad's army, but they've changed it to Vlad's army. It's good meme, that I like it. And by the way, the Nazi party, sorry, the Vlad's party, the RefUKers, the RefUK party have started issuing, and I'm not making this up, black shirts with reform on them. Literal black shirts. Anyway, so check out the interview where Farage is saying that what's he saying that he's questioned about his racism in school on ITV News. I'm sorry, I am going to link to x.com. So what I would suggest you do is maybe if you're going to open this, you can open this you can open this link here, Supertansky's X account. If you open it in a incognito window or something, you don't need to be logged in. You'll be able to see it. And it's just 1.5 minutes of Farage just squirming like a motherfucker, being asked questions about why he's a massive racist and why his chief of staff is leader in Wales, Nathan Gill, is currently serving 10.5 years for being a Russian stooge. Are you a Russian stooge, Mr. Farage? Are you a Russian stooge? Hang it round his neck like a concrete albatross. Okay, I'll be back tonight at 7:30 with my friend Ollie, Bowler Hatman, to talk about the news around the world. Oh, that's my alarm going off to tell me to shut up. And otherwise, I will see you at 9:00 tomorrow morning for another morning brew. If you can't make it for 7:30 tonight, but yeah, we will be talking about Ukraine and this peace plan that's been put forward. This peace plan that's been put forward by the Yanks. We'll be going through it line by line and spelling out just how fucking shit it is. Fucking shit. Anyway, so have a great day. I know the weather's not fantastic today. It's a bit better than it was yesterday. Jesus Christ, the weather was miserable yesterday. It was purely, just curl up on the couch with a blanket over you and watch a fucking movie kind of weather. But today, it's looking a bit better up here in Durham at least. So maybe go out for a walk. Don't touch the grass though, because it's cold and wet. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. Before I go, just a little bit of an ask. Please give us a like. Please hit the thumb up. Give us a like. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Half the people watching this are not subscribed. If you do subscribe, please hit the bell notification icon. Let you know when we're going live. Sometimes the times change. Like yesterday, we were going to do stateside, and then we had to start at 9:30. So I thought, no, that time changed to 9:30, and then it changed back to 9:00. It's like, no, time changed back to the normal. You'll get all that information. So yeah, please hit the bell notification icon. You can watch more shit on this channel. So until 7:30 tonight, or maybe 9:00 tomorrow, I'll say thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, budget day tomorrow. So we've got the show at 9:00 in the morning. Then at 12, we've got 5 minutes as questions. At 12:30, we're going straight into the budget. You can watch it live here on Politics Social with me. I will be taking the piss. I'll be making jokes. I'll be pausing it and saying things. And you can say things in the chat. You won't get necessarily thrown off in the internet for saying it. You won't get cancelled. You won't get cancelled for being right on. Ivan, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. The report of the inquiry into the Autism Act 2009 was published yesterday. I'm pleased to say some of my points were included. And one of my quotes. Oh, fantastic, Ivan. That is brilliant. Well done, mate. Well fucking done. Really proud of you, mate. Ivan's doing really well this week. Okay, I'm going to head off now. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome,